Imagine waking up every morning knowing your body is already in fat-burning mode, your brain is clear, your cravings are quiet, and your energy is steady instead of spiking and crashing. That state is called ketosis, and most people think it is fragile, temporary, or difficult to maintain. The truth is ketosis can be stable, reliable, and even automatic if you understand which foods signal your metabolism to stay there. Today, I'm going to show you why certain foods keep you in ketosis around the clock and how choosing them changes your hormones, your hunger, and your health. Ketosis is not magic, and it is not a trend. It is a metabolic setting your body was designed to use whenever carbohydrates are scarce. When carbs drop, insulin drops. When insulin drops, your body is finally allowed to release stored fat and convert it into ketones, a clean fuel that powers your brain and muscles. The problem is most people accidentally turn ketosis off without realizing it. They eat foods that look harmless but quietly raise insulin just enough to shut down fat burning. The key to staying in ketosis is not just cutting carbs. It is choosing foods that actively stabilize blood sugar and keep insulin low for hours after you eat. Think of your meals as messages. Every bite tells your metabolism whether to store fat or burn it. Foods rich in healthy fats, moderate in protein, and extremely low in carbohydrates send the strongest signal to remain in fat-burning mode. These foods digest slowly, release energy steadily, and prevent the roller coaster that pushes you back into sugar burning. Healthy fats are the backbone of nutritional ketosis. When you eat natural fats like those found in eggs, avocados, olives, butter, and fatty cuts of meat, your body receives a powerful message of fuel abundance without a glucose spike. Fat does not trigger insulin the way sugar or starch does, so your metabolism stays calm and steady. Instead of chasing snacks, your body taps into stored fuel, which is exactly what ketosis is designed to do. Protein plays a supporting role, but balance matters. Too little protein and your muscles suffer. Too much and your liver can convert excess amino acids into glucose, which may slow ketone production. The sweet spot is moderate intake from real, whole sources like meat, fish, and poultry. This amount supports repair, hormones, and immune strength without pushing you out of ketosis. Finally, the most powerful foods for staying in ketosis are those that combine high satiety with minimal insulin impact. When your meals leave you satisfied for 5 or 6 hours, you naturally eat less often, giving your body time to deepen its fat-burning state. This is why the right foods make ketosis feel effortless rather than restrictive. Once you understand this principle, you stop fighting your body and start working with it. And that is when lasting fat loss, sharp focus, and metabolic freedom truly begin to happen for you daily consistently. Most people think staying in ketosis is about willpower, but biology tells a different story. Your metabolism is driven far more by chemistry than motivation, and the foods you choose determine that chemistry every single hour. When someone says keto did not work for them, what usually happened is they unknowingly ate foods that disrupted ketone production. The body is always listening to what you eat, and certain ingredients act like switches that flip fat burning off even when carbs appear low. One of the biggest hidden disruptors is processed low-carb food. Packages may say keto-friendly, but many contain starch derivatives, artificial sweeteners, or modified fibers that still provoke an insulin response. Insulin is the hormone that decides whether your body stores fuel or releases it. Even a small rise can pause ketosis for hours. This is why people who rely heavily on processed substitutes often feel stuck despite following carb counts carefully. In contrast, whole foods naturally defend ketosis because they contain no hidden metabolic surprises. A steak, a boiled egg, or a handful of olives does not need a nutrition label to tell your body how to respond. These foods have been recognized by human metabolism for thousands of years, so the hormonal reaction is predictable and stable. That stability is exactly what keeps ketone levels consistent day and night. Another powerful category is mineral-rich foods. When insulin drops, the kidneys release sodium and water, which can leave people feeling tired or foggy if minerals are not replaced. Foods like leafy greens, bone broth, and unprocessed salts help restore electrolytes so your nervous system and muscles function smoothly. When minerals are balanced, your body interprets ketosis as safe rather than stressful, and it stays there willingly. Timing also matters more than most realize. Eating the right foods, but grazing constantly can still interrupt ketosis because each eating event triggers a small insulin rise. When meals are built from satisfying fats and proteins, hunger naturally spaces itself out. This creates longer gaps between meals, allowing insulin to remain low and ketones to rise higher. In other words, the right foods quietly train your appetite to support ketosis without discipline battles. There is also a powerful brain effect. Ketones are not just fuel, they are signaling molecules that reduce inflammation and improve mitochondrial efficiency. When your brain senses this clean energy, it reduces cravings for quick sugar fixes. That is why people often notice their desire for sweets fading after consistently eating ketosis-supporting foods. The change is not psychological, it is biochemical. So the goal is not simply avoiding carbs. The goal is building meals made of foods that actively tell your hormones to stay in fat-burning mode. Once your plate sends that message repeatedly, your metabolism begins to trust the pattern, and trust is what allows ketosis to continue not just for hours, but around the clock without strain. This is how nutritional consistency creates effortless metabolic freedom every single day of your life. One of the most fascinating things about ketosis is that your body keeps score over time. Every meal you eat either strengthens your ability to stay in fat, burning mode, or weakens it. Think of your metabolism like a thermostat that adjusts based on repeated signals. When you consistently choose foods that stabilize insulin and nourish your cells, your body adapts by becoming more efficient at producing and using ketones. This adaptation is called metabolic flexibility, and it is the real secret behind staying in ketosis 24/7. At first, many people rely on strict tracking, measuring, and calculating to stay on plan. That can be helpful during the learning phase, but it is not the long-term goal. The real goal is teaching your metabolism to recognize a pattern of foods that naturally keeps it in ketosis. When that pattern becomes familiar, your body begins shifting into fat burning faster after meals and returning to ketosis more quickly, even if you occasionally eat something outside your usual routine. This is why food quality matters more than perfection. Certain foods accelerate this adaptation because they support the organs responsible for ketone production. The liver is the metabolic powerhouse that converts fat into ketones, and it thrives when you feed it nutrients that reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. Foods rich in choline, sulfur compounds, and antioxidants help liver cells function efficiently. Egg yolks, cruciferous vegetables, and high-quality animal proteins provide these building blocks, making it easier for your body to sustain ketone output throughout the day and night. Another factor most people overlook is satiety signaling. Hormones like leptin and cholecystokinin tell your brain when you have eaten enough. Meals built around whole fats and proteins trigger these signals strongly, while low-fat or processed foods often fail to activate them. When satiety hormones rise properly, you stop eating naturally without feeling deprived. That automatic stopping point prevents overeating, keeps insulin low, and allows ketosis to continue uninterrupted for hours. Hydration also plays a surprisingly important role. Ketone production increases water usage because glycogen stores, which normally hold water, become depleted. If you do not drink enough fluids, your body may interpret dehydration as stress and release hormones that raise blood sugar. Choosing hydrating foods like cucumbers, leafy greens, and broth alongside adequate water intake supports stable metabolism and helps your system remain calm and efficient while burning fat. There is also a neurological reinforcement loop. As ketone levels remain steady, brain cells produce more mitochondria, the tiny structures that generate energy. More mitochondria mean more capacity to use fat as fuel, which makes ketosis feel easier and more natural over time. People often describe this stage as a mental shift where they no longer feel like they are trying to stay in ketosis because their body simply prefers it. When you combine nutrient-dense fats, moderate protein, mineral support, hydration, and consistent meal spacing, you create an internal environment where ketosis is not forced but favored. Your metabolism begins choosing fat as its primary fuel because that is the cleanest, most reliable energy source available. And once your body learns that pattern, remaining in ketosis stops being a challenge and starts becoming your biological default state. There is a moment in every successful ketogenic journey when things shift from effort to ease. In the beginning, you may feel like you are managing your metabolism, but once your food choices consistently support ketosis, your metabolism starts managing itself. This transition happens because your hormones respond to patterns, not isolated meals. When the body repeatedly receives foods that keep insulin low and energy steady, it begins to predict that pattern and prepares for it in advance, making fat burning more efficient with each passing day. One reason certain foods keep you in ketosis continuously is their effect on glucagon, a hormone that works opposite to insulin. While insulin tells your body to store fuel, glucagon tells it to release stored energy. Foods rich in natural fats and clean proteins gently encourage glucagon activity, allowing your body to access fat reserves between meals. This means you are not dependent on constant eating for energy, which is a powerful sign that your metabolism has shifted into a stable fat-fueled state. Fiber also plays a quiet but important role. Low-carbohydrate vegetables that contain natural fibers slow digestion and help regulate blood sugar without kicking you out of ketosis. Instead of spiking glucose, these foods create a slow release of nutrients that keeps your system balanced. This is why meals that include non-starchy vegetables alongside fats and proteins tend to sustain ketosis longer than meals that rely only on fat. The fiber acts like a metabolic buffer, smoothing out your body's response to food. Another key factor is inflammation. Many people do not realize that chronic inflammation can interfere with ketosis by raising stress hormones that increase blood sugar. Foods rich in omega-3 fats, antioxidants, and natural micronutrients help calm inflammation at the cellular level. Fatty fish, herbs, spices, and colorful low-carb vegetables support this process, allowing your metabolism to stay focused on fat burning instead of reacting to internal stress signals. When inflammation drops, hormonal balance improves, and ketosis becomes more stable. Sleep and food quality are deeply connected as well. The foods that best support ketosis also tend to stabilize nighttime blood sugar, which leads to deeper, more restorative sleep. In turn, good sleep lowers cortisol and improves insulin sensitivity the next day. This creates a reinforcing cycle where the right foods improve sleep, and better sleep makes it easier to remain in ketosis. People often notice that once they consistently eat these supportive foods, they wake up energized rather than hungry, which is a strong indicator that fat is fueling their morning metabolism. What makes this approach sustainable is that it aligns with your biology rather than fighting it. Instead of counting every gram or worrying about slipping out of ketosis, you focus on choosing foods that naturally keep your hormones in a fat-burning pattern. Over time, this consistency trains your body to rely on stored energy as its primary fuel source. When that happens, ketosis stops being something you chase and becomes something your metabolism maintains automatically throughout the entire day and night cycle without struggle. At this point, you can see that staying in ketosis is not about restriction, punishment, or rigid dieting rules. It is about understanding signals. Your body responds to what you repeatedly tell it through food choices, And when those choices consistently say burn fat for fuel, your metabolism adapts by making that its preferred setting. This is why some people struggle for weeks while others seem to slip into ketosis smoothly and remain there. The difference is not genetics or luck. The difference is whether their meals send clear, consistent metabolic instructions. The most powerful foods for maintaining ketosis all share one defining trait: they minimize metabolic confusion. Highly processed foods send mixed signals because they combine fats, refined carbohydrates, artificial ingredients, and flavor enhancers that stimulate appetite and insulin at the same time. In contrast, simple whole foods send a single, clear message. When you eat a meal built from natural fats, clean proteins, and low-carbohydrate plants, your hormones know exactly how to respond. Insulin stays controlled, glucagon remains active, and your body continues releasing stored fat for energy. This clarity is what makes ketosis sustainable long-term. Instead of relying on motivation, you rely on physiology. Hunger decreases because fat and protein activate deep satiety pathways. Cravings fade because stable blood sugar removes the urgency for quick fuel. Energy stabilizes because ketones provide a steady supply rather than the rapid spikes and crashes associated with glucose. Over time, these internal changes reshape your relationship with food. Eating becomes purposeful rather than impulsive, and your body begins to trust that it will receive consistent nourishment. There is also a profound confidence that develops when you know which foods support your metabolic goals. You no longer have to guess whether something will knock you out of ketosis because you understand the principles behind your choices. Foods rich in natural fat, moderate protein, minerals, and anti-inflammatory compounds become your foundation. With that foundation in place, occasional variations do not derail your progress because your metabolism has learned how to return to fat burning quickly and efficiently. Another benefit people often notice is mental clarity. Ketones fuel the brain in a way that produces fewer fluctuations in energy supply, which can translate into sharper focus and steadier mood. This neurological stability reinforces your dietary pattern because feeling clear-headed and calm is rewarding. Your brain begins associating ketosis supporting foods with improved performance, making it easier to keep choosing them day after day. Ultimately, the secret to remaining in ketosis 24 hours a day is not a single superfood or trick. It is the combination of consistent food quality, balanced macronutrients, proper hydration, mineral support, and meal timing that respects your hormones. When those elements work together, your metabolism shifts into a rhythm where fat burning is continuous and natural. And once that rhythm is established, you are no longer trying to stay in ketosis. You are living in a way that allows ketosis to stay with you.